When I got arrested, when they was looking for my friend, they also handcuffed my little brother. And I told the police, look, take them handcuffs off my brother. You know, whatever y'all say y'all got, whatever beef y'all got it with me. Let my brother go. So I was arrested for something they say they found in the house. It didn't amount to 1 gram, which was nothing. So I had to learn then, even from my past mistakes, that money didn't mean nothing. I went and obtained a $10,000 lawyer, and he blew what's called a motion to suppress. He blew that. And I signed some papers not knowing that a motion to suppress was actually just another form of a motion. So when I lost that, he actually got me to sign over my rights, saying that I agreed to whatever the plea was. So they end up sending me in for that, you know, setting me up to go in for that. But it was like, I think like they gave me like 2 weeks or something to actually come in. And I'm gonna be very accurate with what I'm finna say. And I know my mom wouldn't want me to lie. And I'm always gonna step up to the plate. My mama told me, baby, don't go in. And I always listen to my mama. I talked to my man who I was connected to. And you know, like I say, we was rolling. We had made it to the cocaine Super Bowl. So we was rolling. I'm talking about we were repeating year after year after year. So I had my bread stacked up. But he was telling me, man, don't go in, because I supposed to meet another guy. I supposed to go and link up with this other guy, so we was gonna be even double the product that we was already in deep with. So he was telling me wherever I relocated at on the run, he can get me false paperwork, and he can just deliver wherever I decided to go. So the seed was planted for me to go on the run. I decided to make a move that I never did in my life. I drove to Georgia to go see my father, because I think it was like 3 or 4 days. I hear my mama in my head telling me to run. My homeboy, I'm getting all this money with. I got tons of money home. My girlfriend, she telling me let's run. So I was, you know, I never been a runner. You know, I always, you know, growing up, man, like I done shared with you guys, I always been the type of guy that go in tooth and nails and go ahead and take care of that business. That's just how I always been. And for this one time, I relied on my father. And when I pulled up to his house in Georgia, we went outside and we walked up and down the street, and he told me what I needed to hear. And I'm finna repeat exactly what he said. He said, son, you're a good son. He said, you're a good father. And your sisters and brothers need you in more ways than you might think. He said, I'm already sure that you financially straight. And if you go in, it don't matter how long you in, I'm gonna be here for you. He said, you got your kids, man. You don't need to go on the run. He said, don't go on the run. Just whatever they got for you, son, go ahead and face that. And that gave me a sigh of relief. I exhaled. And I went back and I told my mama what my daddy told me. And she agreed. She cried. You know, my sisters and brothers cried. Everybody cried. You know, I don't know how many people's me having to go in touch, but I definitely want to mention this, and this coming to me simultaneously as I'm speaking to you guys right now. I met a friend, him and his wife, you know, I could name drop him because he passed. And I went to his funeral a couple of years ago. As a matter of fact, he passed away on my birthday. Mike and Belinda. They were sleeping in their car, and I had just met them, and I had this Chevy I've been, you know, describing to you guys. So he was doing all the master mechanic work on this Chevy, and they didn't have nowhere to stay. And you know, by me just meeting them, I wanted to make sure that they was all right. I wanted to make sure they had somewhere to stay before I went in. I gave away a few cars and things or whatever to clear the slate, you know, get my conscience right or whatever. And, you know, my mom, she wanted to come, But I thought about all the years. Uh, I ain't want Mike them to come. I got them straight. I left some money home and, to take care of the bills and things. So, I was a couple $100,000 large, so it wasn't no pressure. I had about 7 or 8,000 in my pocket. And I told my mom she couldn't go. She cried and begged me to come to court. I didn't want to come because I wanted to stand up strong. And I had already gave her, and I've been sharing with you guys, the trouble of all troubles. And that was always the thing for me, seeing my mother break down in the courts whenever they would hammer me. So I told her to stay home. And I went on and turned myself in. And I took that on the chin. A lot of people didn't like it, but I took that on the chin. And, while I was, making that trick, I took a long route. I got a couple of pictures that I might share in this audio book eventually too. But I took the long trek. I wanted to take the air in, blowing a little AC or whatever in the car, bumping some rap music, some hard beats that I like, and, just went on up there, took the fingerprint and went in, and there was a guy that was there. And he was, facing, I think, 18 months, and he was telling me something about, hey, man, I couldn't, do that. I couldn't see how you just walk in, whatever. I was like, yeah, man, I'm going in here to do that. So again, man, to repeat, I just went on in, took my fingerprint, and they took me in the back. And that's how I ended up walking away from the thing that I build, that I helped build with my own hands, with my own thoughts, helping my family to get them where they needed to be. To get some fresh air. So going in, it wasn't horrible, but it was surreal to know that you leaving everything behind. It's kind of like getting ready to die. You know you're going to die. You can't take your clothes. You can't take your jewelry. You can't take your books. You can't take your family with you. You can't do none of that. So I went in and I walked away from everything. Nobody was charged other than me. The little bogus charge, everything was clear. And I just kept thinking about my mom, she was crying and stuff. So, I'm the only child that she got, that she had, that gave her trouble. So whenever I was away, she knew she could sleep good. At least I wanted to have that on my conscience and have a clear, thought process while I was in doing that.